Good morning everybody and welcome to this week's Headmaster's blog. It's Friday the 15th of January. Well done everybody for negotiating the first full week of homeschool and your learning in evidence looks to be fantastic. There's plenty of evidence of that in the newsletter, 16 pages of which are on their way to you later on with some fantastic pictures and content, so please do look forward to that. Obviously, during the course of this week, it started off perhaps with the odd glitch, but reports reaching me are very much indicative that those have been circumvented and that actually excellent progress is being made, both technically and practically. I'd like to extend my thanks to the parents in 10W who last night fell victim to school's cloud falling short. It was their technical glitch, not ours, but I was really impressed with how well the teaching staff adapted, as did you, to keep to your timetables and simply revert back to online meetings via Microsoft Teams. I think that the possibility of us negotiating that a year ago would have been interesting, and I think it shows how far we've all come, both at school and at home, to be able to manufacture such a great solution on the hoof midway through the evening. So thank you 10W for being responsive and reactive, and I understand that the meetings all went really smoothly, so that's good to hear. Year 7 parents, it's your turn next week. The Schools Cloud app is back up and running. Please can you make sure you book your meetings via that portal for Tuesday, Wednesday or Thursday evening, and obviously we would wish you all to attend so that we can have good dialogue at this important time. If you haven't done so, please make sure that you fill in those documents by the end of the weekend so that we can plan accordingly. Over the course of assembly on Wednesday morning, Mrs. Wraith, Mr. Bailey, Miss Foster and Mrs. Hawley outlined some really exciting initiatives for subject enrichment this half of term. So in art, I have already seen some fantastic examples of puppet socks being made, some of them being sewn, incredibly bright, colourful and creative. I'd love to see some with those acronyms. So Mrs. Wraith, for example, used the words keen, helpful and smiling, of course, which spells out KHS for Kingswood House School. Really be inventive and showcase what you can do in more of those. In music, Miss Foster has encouraged you to come up with your own compositions. In DT, Mr. Bailey is encouraging you to make your own homemade instruments. And in drama, Mrs. Hawley's got a great idea for you to write a dialogue or a script that relates to COVID-19 in some practical way. It can be humorous, it can be serious, but ultimately there needs to be a sensible moral in that script. I really look forward to hearing, particularly I think from some of the seniors, who are very talented in this respect, some of the products that you're able to come up with. So in theory, it should be possible entirely for you to make your own instrument as a part of the DT enrichment and then play it as a part of our family orchestra, which Miss Foster's arranging in due course. I cannot wait to see and to hear that in action. So well done to all of the staff for being so inventive, and well done to those of you at home who are participating. I would urge you all to get involved. And on a related note, please can everybody get involved in our sports programme. I dropped into Mr. Lordy's recently and it was great to see so many people with brothers and sisters and even parents also getting involved in his hit session. I know that yesterday he had a very successful Star Wars theme as well. And Mr. Hendry is also operating some really interesting skills-based activities. So if you want to go off and do a run or a cycle ride, of course that's absolutely fine. But if you're stuck for an idea and you have limited space or it's raining outside, then just get involved in what we're offering every afternoon at school, because I think it's really personalised, very energetic and very therapeutic. After all, healthy in body, healthy in mind. And I do think it's important for us to remember our culture here at the school of being a growth mindset school. I would encourage all of the boys to try something new. There's a huge array of activities on offer that Mrs. Lambert has also sent through, some really great links and websites and ideas and competitions that you can get involved in. And because we are locked down, there is no better time for you to find a new hobby. So please do be proactive and then send us in evidence of what you're doing so that we can showcase all of your adventures in the newsletter. Right, mentioning dispatches for this week. Many congratulations to Ted Ramsey, who is working really hard in school for Mrs. Lambert. Well done to Zach Bland for his work on the 12 times table. And Zach, who's in school at the moment, I was able to see his work and give him a sticker, so well done, Zach. Harry Roberts doing very well, chatting away with the other boys. Obviously tricky starting at a new school online, but Harry, you're doing incredibly well from Miss Smith. Reese Bishop has been nominated by Miss Forbes, as well as Bertie Lewis, another new boy for settling in so well online. George Pritchard for working in his maths over the holidays. He worked on Dynamo Maths almost every single day, so great commitment from you, from Mrs. Seaver. Well done to Alex Forbes, who's been very helpful with Mrs. Webb in coding. Congratulations to all of 5S who are absolutely outstanding, I quote, by Mrs. Hornstetter. Really, really pleased in the computer science lesson discussing fake news. Well done to Sam Atkins, who was very, very good in terms of not having his French textbook. It didn't prevent him from accessing the lesson. He still answered the questions and did all of his French translation. So well done to you, Sam. Tristan Bush has been nominated by Mrs. Lindley for being the first to registration every day, being very sensible and having his camera ready and himself muted. Well done to you. And she would also like to thank all of her form for giving her a warm welcome back from her maternity leave. So well done to 6L. Madame Swift would like to nominate all of 6S who have worked very well and increased a much better understanding of their online etiquette, with one notable exception, I will add. But other than that one exception, they've done very well. Freddie Taylor, well done for being helpful to Mrs. Webb with coding, and well done to Adam Grattan for your skeleton word search from Mr. Barrett. Well done to Arlo Saywell, who has shared a photo of his fabulous cooked breakfast from last weekend that he made independently. Mr. Barrett was particularly impressed with your ketchup drizzle. That is making my mouth water, Arlo, I have to say. Congratulations to Zachary Howes, Theo Moffat, Ian Shafiq and Ethan Carroll for designing and creating a set of computer hardware pair cards from Mrs. Webb. And well done to Zachary Howes again for really tremendous efforts in all lessons so far and extension work. Also to Connor Towers for his incredible sales assessment score from Miss Patel. Zach Moffat has been nominated by Miss Black for being very enthusiastic and happy to participate in form time discussions. Dylan Bishop and Jonathan Barnes have also been very, very keen and particularly enjoyed the discourse they had in form time about how they might spend £1 million. Well, I'll be interested to hear how they might do that, Miss Black. I'm hoping that some of it might go into the teachers' pension fund. Well done to Kobe Wood and Henry Trianor for your work in history from Mrs. Hornstetter, and to Joel McCarati for your great extra effort in maths from Mr. Barrett, to Jay Huang for a great sales assessment score from Miss Patel, Noah Seeger for work in computer science, and Enzo Reed for designing and creating computer hardware cards from Mrs. Webb. Mrs. Hornstetter has nominated Avanish Gunjal, who completed a voluntary challenge over the Christmas holiday. He took part in a code-breaking activity set by Bletchley Park, the home for the code breakers during World War II, and Avanish successfully completed his mission. Well done, Agent Gunjal, says Mrs. Hornstetter. Madame Swift very pleased with her Year 7 French group, who coped resourcefully when they had a sound technicality issue. They could hear her, but she couldn't hear them, but you all persevered, soldiered on, and everything was completed on schedule. Well done to Krishan for his work in computer science, to Charles and Sam in 7P, also for their work in computer science from Mrs. Webb. And Sam Carroll has a special mention here from Mr. Westcott. He is coming into school as a key worker, and he's been doing very well and being a great role model in the school for the other boys, being very helpful, concentrating well, really focused. Well done to you, Sam, from Mr. Westcott. Mr. Lordy would like to say well done to 8L for their etiquette on Teams, which has generally been exemplary. And well done in particular from Madame Taylor to Charlie Leonard, Yvonne Tutai, Matt Mullen, and more recently Daniel Pepper, who have done extremely well with their weekly French vocab. Good to hear. Rory Fitzpatrick, another nomination for being very helpful with the 8L online learning from Mrs. Webb. He even stayed late in the computer science lesson just to make sure that everybody else was up to date. Rory, that is super altruism, really good to hear. And James Carr has been nominated by Miss Patel for an excellent chemistry score. Into 8T, Idris Ali Khan and Sam McCaskill, two new boys, have settled in well. Well done to you. And thank you to the rest of the boys for being very welcoming from Madame Taylor. Mr. Clark is also very well pleased with how Sam and Idris are settling in. And also Sam has a nomination because he showed great respect, which is one of the core elements of the Kingswood House way, by staying on at the end of the Year 8 career session to thank Miss Black in person. So well done, Sam, you've created a good impression there. Well done to Jack Chamberlain for his work during wet breaks, to Tobias Van Hennigan for his excellent chemistry score, Zachary Fitzgibbon and Jack Chamberlain for providing tech support to Miss Patel and other students during a lesson on Teams without being asked. And into the seniors, Mr. Sukdeo is generally very pleased with all of the seniors for their netiquette. Jack Bunya Ames has a nomination for good work in computer science. Joe Seeger has been picked up by Mr. Hendry for being a great role model for his peers in terms of punctuality and organisation. In 9T, well done to Luca Wintle for being the current champion in the English quizzes from Mr. Twinley, with Theo Venzelar-Pelly, Anthony Mirnick, Alfie Lewis, Ted Rees and Marcus Glenn hot on his heels. Alfie Lewis, another nomination for you for being very much punctual and making a good effort to your online lessons from Miss Patel. She is especially pleased that you're not afraid to say when you don't understand something and to ask for help. So well done, that's a good thing to be doing. Ryan Luneman has a nomination for Mrs. Hornstetter in 10H for being absolutely bang on time for registration and PSHE. And Owen Fisher has been working extremely well in science this term, which is a C change. Good to see, really engaged. Well done, Owen. Mrs. Weston, very pleased with all of 10W. As we have come to expect, they're being very grown up and mature in terms of their logging into online lessons and cheering her up every morning in registration. And Jack Bettman has a commendation for producing accurate Active Learn online preps with an aggregate score of in excess of 90%. So well done, Jack. James Totham has been nominated by Mr. Bailey for excellent efforts in art, and Mrs. Wraith is generally very pleased with the integrity shown by her form, being very polite and respectful as well during form time. So well done to you. Mr. Mitchell and myself would like to commend all of the Year 11 boys. You have shown really good adaptability and resilience after revising all holiday in preparation for your mocks. Obviously they're now postponed due to the school closure, and you're preparing instead for weekly assessments until further notice. Thank you for being understanding. Do keep up the hard work. It is going to be incredibly important, and we'll be in touch with you shortly. So that more or less rounds off news from KHS this week. In the wider world, we have seen Donald Trump now infamously impeached for the second time. I do think this brings us back to our core value of integrity at the school and values. I think it's incredibly important for all of you boys to aspire to be your best selves. Make sure that you take great care about the decisions that you make. You are ultimately accountable for what you say, for what you write, and for what you do. Make sure, above all else, that you are treating others as you would wish to be treated, both online and in person. Have a great weekend.